know what's your purpose in life. Some may say, my purpose in life is to make money. All right, you make money, you die, somebody else takes your money. You don't take it with you to the grave. Oh, I'm going to live life and I'm just going to have, boyfriend and girlfriend and just have fun. But when you die, you go to the grave by yourself, now with your boyfriend and girlfriend. And then when you die, they go with somebody else. Right? So the reality is thinking like, what is my purpose in life? And now I ask God, you created me, and you know what I need better than I do myself. Choose for me the right way, and I will not look back. Choose for me the right way, and I'll leave everything behind. During that time, I had a music album, a music contract, because I used to sing Spanish rap. And I was going to sign the contract, but I stopped myself. And I didn't sign the contract. The reason I didn't sign the contract is because I knew for a fact that the environment wasn't a good environment. I knew for a fact that the environment is one of drugs, one of, illicit activities, one of cursing, one of drinking alcohol. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to sign it. So now I'm here fighting myself. This is something that I used to love to do, and now I'm saying no. Because I'm more concerned for my life. Then as I read the continuation, it says, show us a straight way. And in this Quran, in the commentary, it says, the first step or the right way is often the difficult way. It seems difficult. Why do I pray and things happen? There's a lot of hardships. But the crooked way is very spacious. It's easy, no limits, you can enjoy, right? And then it said, and the straight way is like a mountain. You go up, and it's difficult, right? You struggle to go up that mountain. But once you make a mistake, you go back down, and you got to start over again. So just imagine, you got your job, you got your car, you got your nice clothes, you got your money. All of a sudden you make a silly mistake, you go to jail, you lose your car, you lose your money, you lose your job. Now you got to go back when you come out of jail and start all over again. And sometimes you go to jail, and if it's for a couple of years, sometimes the love of your life, your girl, she ends up going with your friend, sometimes with your best friend, and now you come back, now you have another challenge. You either come back and you find out, and you beat up your friend and go back to jail. It's a never-ending story. It keeps going and going and going and going. So it says the right way is like a mountain. You go up and it's challenging. So I said to myself, I'm not going down. We lived in life moving away from the problems. We're stressed out, let me drink a little bit, let me forget. We're stressed out, let me smoke and relax. That's not removing the problem. It's actually adding more problems. Because you got drunk, you end up going with somebody, and then once you're sober, you find out that you're pregnant. So did it help? No, it didn't. So I said to myself, I'm not going to move away from the problem, but I'm going to face it. And I'm going to learn how to defeat this problem and continue going up. And I felt that in making that decision, that I was going against traffic. So all the cars are going one way and I'm going the opposite. Because there are many followers, but there are few leaders. There are many followers, but few leaders. Now, as I continue reading the Quran, I used to feel to myself that that Allah is not going to forgive me. That Allah is not going to forgive me for robbing so-and-so and beating up so-and-so. I thought that Allah would never forgive me. But now I come across the ayah in the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, right? And it says that Allah does not lay a burden on a person greater than he has strength to bear. And then there's a supplication that says, "O my Lord, condemn us not if we forget or fall into error. O my Lord, lay not on us a burden greater than we have strength to bear. O my Lord, lay not on us a burden like you put on those before us. Forgive us, have mercy on us, and grant us victory over those who do not believe in you." So that's at the end of Surah Al-Baqarah. So every day I used to read the Quran. I used to walk with this Quran. So you imagine before I used to walk in the streets with my radio, with my DMX, or my Tupac, or my Big Smalls, and I'm walking down the street. Now I'm walking down the street with the Quran. And not to show off, because the Quran became my best friend. Because the Quran only gave me good advice. Because the Quran was the one that when I was addicted to alcohol, helped me leave it. The Quran, the one that helped me leave cigarettes when I used to smoke 2 packs a day. The Quran, the one that helped me to be patient. Because Allah says, "Inna Allah yuhibbu as-sabirin." Allah loves the patience. Right? Somebody does wrong to us, right away we get revenge. Right? Now I'm not gonna, because we have pride. But Allah tells us you can get revenge, but you can also change that which is wrong for that which is better. And the Prophet teaches as well. The strong person is not the one that could beat someone up. But the strong person, the real strong person, is the one who is able to control himself or herself in a fit of anger. That is the strong person. That's what our Prophet said. Not the one who can yell the loudest, but the one who can keep himself calm in hardship. So I continued reading the Quran and I came across an ayah or several ayats and I began to implement them. So I read an ayah in the Quran that says that verily the reading of the Quran in Fajr is witnessed. Right? So I began to wake up when everybody in my house was sleeping. So imagine, it's just me and my stolen Quran. Just us two. Everybody else is sleeping. Right? So I would quietly turn on a dim light and then I would read for like 1 hour and then I would close the Quran, I would make sujood and go to sleep. Then my mother will wake up, my dad will wake up, go to work, etc. But once they wake up, I already felt that I accomplished something. Why? Because I was doing it in secret for Allah. So for 9 months I was doing this. For 9 months I was sacrificing my sleep to feed myself, to feed my spirit. Because many times we don't take care of our spiritual health. We spend more time taking care of our physical health, and our internal health, our spiritual health is suffering. So I read another verse of the Quran that said, "Kutiba alaykum as-siyam." Prescribed upon you is fasting. And then I read in the commentary that you fast and, you know, to be God conscious, to practice self-restraint so you can stop, you know, doing bad things, and also to feel for the poor. So I began to fast, and you know, we fast from dawn to sunset. Now I began to fast, but I wasn't as lucky as you, or most of you, because I didn't know Maghrib existed. I didn't know about Maghrib. I didn't know we make iftar in Maghrib. So I used to fast all day until I felt pain. Why? Because I said I want to fast until I feel what the poor people feel. I'm not a hypocrite. I know that I have food in my refrigerator. So let me discipline myself. So in that fasting, I realized that I'm able to leave the food that I need. So I said, how come I cannot leave the cigarette that I don't need? So I began to stop making, I began to start making an effort to cut down on smoking cigarettes. And sometimes even just walking outside of my house, a cigarette goes in my mouth. So I used to try to avoid going out unnecessarily. The same thing happened with drinking alcohol. So I began to want to go outside, and I said no, because I don't want to drink. So I'm here fighting with myself. I don't want to drink. So I would lock myself in the room whenever I had the feeling I want to drink, I want to drink, I want to drink. Right? You get that feeling that you want it. So I locked myself in the room and I would just read Quran. Read Quran. I would continue reading Quran until the feeling went away. I said, I'm not going to stop. I might read 100 ayat, but in between 100 ayat, there's that one ayat that Allah prescribed to touch my heart. And I don't know which is that ayat. So I'm going to continue reading until I get that benefit. You know, and as I continue making that effort, then I read another ayah that was really challenging. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. O you who believe, be God conscious. Right? Be aware that Allah is aware of all our actions. Right? Fear Allah and fear disobeying Allah. Love Allah and strive to obey Him. And the ayah says, fear Allah and only say that which is right. Now, here comes, you know, every sentence that I used to say had a curse word. Almost every sentence. It had all the alphabets. So now I'm here trying to fight myself to not curse. So now I read that ayah and I'm during the day, I'm with my friends and we're hanging out in the corner and I'm quiet. And they're like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so quiet? Like, what's the point in talking? What's the point in talking? Why am I going to waste words? Why am I going to waste time? Then later on, I was in New York and I came across a Muslim brother who was selling books and perfumes and musk and stuff. And he happened to have some Qur'ans. And I bought a smaller Qur'an. So now I'm hanging out with my friends, and instead of talking with them, I would open up the Qur'an. And right there, in the midst of my friends smoking weed, hanging out, I'm reading the Qur'an. Because I felt that I'm not going to do what they do. You know, and that's the thing about being a leader in the gang, that people already respect you. So I wasn't going to follow them. They're supposed to follow me. So now, as I continue reading the Quran, for approximately 9 months. I finished reading the whole Quran in 9 months with the commentary. After reading this Quran, I realized that, remember in the beginning I said, I'm just gonna read this book, get whatever benefits I can, and I'm not gonna say Allah, I'm only gonna say God. And I know this is a book for Arab, so I'm just gonna get whatever benefits me and that's it. Now after reading it, after I realized that the book is for all mankind, and I realized that it's very much different than what I experienced with other scriptures. Now I'm saying to myself, I believe in this book and everything that's inside of this book. And this is my only friend that I can trust, not the human beings. The human being one day is your friend, and the next day he backstabs you, he betrays you. And it happens, because the human being is a human being. The human being is not an angel. We make mistakes. But the best thing is that even though we make mistakes, no matter how big the mistake is, Allah is the Ghafurur Rahim. Allah is able to forgive. The human being might not forgive, but Allah is able to forgive. There is no sin that Allah can't forgive. Right? Allah, if you consciously say, you know what, I know about Islam, I understand, and I studied, but I believe that there's another God, then that's a problem. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to forgive all sins. Allah is the one that controls the hearts. Allah is the one that is able to make, and this is why when you come to the masjid, when you come to Jummah, when you come to a lecture, remember that you pay attention. You know why? Because you don't know what ayah or what hadith is going to change your life or is going to improve your iman. You do not know. You think maybe this one? No, maybe Allah prescribes something else. Because Allah is the one that prescribes. So you hope, you ask Allah, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. Show us the straight path. Allah is the one that's able to. So after reading the Quran for 9 months, I said to myself, I gotta go to the mosque. Okay. Because Allah is gonna ask me why you didn't go to the mosque. Hello. How are you? Good. Muslim. That was a personal conversation. So once I decided to go to the mosque, I decided to go to the mosque on the best day of the week, right? Friday, Jummah. Now, I've been away from my friends, right? I used to walk a different way to go home every time to avoid my friends, to avoid the area where I used to hang out, because it was very tempting. Now I'm going to the mosque, and the mosque is in the same street that I used to sell drugs and hang out and drink alcohol. And I chose to go to that place on Friday, and my friends were there, next to the mosque, hanging out, right? In front of the mosque there's a building that I used to sneak in and go and drink when I was a Muslim. And I used to stand outside and look at the word Allah on top as a non-Muslim. Now I go, and I'm like, Allah's going to ask me, I gotta go. If I die, what's going to happen? So I go to the mosque. And I see the mosque, but I see my friends. Where you been? I've been working, chilling. Where are you chilling? I'm like, And you know when you don't want something, they give it to you. Like, here's a beer. Like, oh man, all right, thanks. So I have the beer. I said, I'm not gonna drink, I'm just gonna fake it. So I'm holding the beer, I'm like this. I'm like, how am I gonna go inside the mosque? You know, I look like a thug. You know, I have my Timberlands, I have my do-rag, I have my, you know, my gold chain, and I'm by the mosque, and the people around the mosque knew who I was. And every day, I mean, the head detective of that city lives next to the mosque. And every day I used to have problems with him. So now, I'm like, how am I going to go inside this place? How am I going to go inside this place? And I'm like, oh man, you know, if I go inside, they're going to call the cops on me, I'm going to go to jail. They don't know what I'm doing. So all of a sudden, a friend of mine from high school passed by. His name is Muhammad, from Palestine. And we played basketball together. Very nice kid, very nice family. I know his brothers and everything. So mashallah, he passes by. I just say, you know, what's up, pass by. And I hesitated a little bit to ask him. And as he passed by, he's getting far. Again, I said to myself, Allah's going to ask me, why you didn't ask him? So I said, Muhammad. And what? So he came back. Yo, I want to go to the mosque. He's like, he knows me for 8 years. And he lives in the same street that I used to live in. So he saw when I used to be in the gang and I used to be a leader that I used to have meetings in my house and 50 people will come out of my house wearing the same colors. You know, the whole neighborhood felt nervous. And I said, I want to go to the mosque. He's like, you? He's like, yeah. Why? It's like, because I read the Quran and I believe in everything that's inside of it. What? He's like, yeah. So I started telling him all that I learned about the Day of Judgment, about, you know, the prophets, etc., etc. And it was a little bit late, so there was no imam. You know, the masjid was about to close. He was just picking up his brothers from the Friday night school, right? And so he does that. He said, look, let's meet on Wednesday, because Wednesday there's a class in English, and I introduce you to the sheikh that speaks English. I said, okay, at what time? 7 o'clock. All right. Now Wednesday come. Wednesday come. Take a shower. I get ready. I dress a little bit more, less thuggish, you know, just nice and decent. And I'm waiting. Okay, 7 o'clock. Wait a minute. We didn't say where we were going to meet. So now it's 7 o'clock. Should I go to his house or is he going to go to my house? And I'm waiting. He doesn't come. So again, I said to myself, I have to go to his house. Yeah, but his family. So I'm here talking to myself. Yeah, but his family knows me. And then again I said, yeah, but Allah's going to ask me why you didn't go. So I'm like, all right. So now I go, and I go to his house. And it's by my house. And it's like up some stairs. So I go up the stairs, and I ring the bell, and I run down. So I'm waiting downstairs, and he opens the door, and he said, come. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, come. I already talked to my mom, come. So I go inside his house. It's the first time that I see, you know, the frame with the black cloth and the gold letters of the Quran, and it was really the first time I see it like that, the Islamic calligraphy. So now we sit for a little bit, then we go to the mosque. When we go to the mosque, Muhammad is so excited that he wants to teach me Islam. I don't want to hear him. Honestly, I wanted to see the mosque. Right now, I'm 9 months reading the Quran. Finally, I'm in a mosque. I want to see it. I want to see the rugs and what is the direction that we pray and so on. So he was talking, and then it's Maghrib time. Muhammad's like, look, we're going to pray, so just sit there and watch. I was like, watch? You think it's fair? You pray and I sit and watch? You get the good deeds and I just sit and watch? I didn't come to sit and watch. I came to pray. So I went and I joined them. And nobody was going to tell me not to pray. Crazy. I was like, I'm going to pray. I didn't know how to pray, but I just went along. I followed their footsteps and no Fatiha, no nothing, just movements. And finally, we finished the prayer and he takes me to the Imam that speaks English. We go to the library, the Imam has a class, there's a lot of new Muslims, etc. MashaAllah, that Imam has been holding those classes for more than 15 years, MashaAllah. Consistently, every week, every Wednesday, the classes take place. So now I go to him, the Imam asks me, so, how are you? Okay, I'm good, and you? He's like, where did you, how do you come across the Quran? I was like, I stole it. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, I stole it. He's like, you gotta give it back? I was like, wait a minute. The Quran has been my only friend for 9 months. You think I'm gonna give it back? I said, if I get the same copy, I'll give it back. But if not, I'll pay for it. I swear, I never seen an Imam run so fast. He went inside the library and he's looking and looking, is this one, and he found the same version of like this Quran, and he gave it to me. And he made sure he was strategic and he was really smart. Dedicated to, and he put my name and so on, right? As a gift. You know why? To make sure that I give the other one back, because this one is already written on. So I got the temptation to keep that one because that one was the one that I have a special relationship with. So alhamdulillah, he gave me a little book about the pillars of Islam, the pillars of Iman. I read it, and then there was a section about the testimony of faith. And when I learned that it says, Islam is not a new religion. It's the same religion that all the prophets had. Jesus himself said, not the one who calls me master, master shall enter the kingdom of the heavens, but the one who does the will of the one that sent me shall enter the kingdom. And then when I learned that the definition of Islam is to do the will of God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, and then it said, if you ever worship something else, then you have to say these two sentences, the Shahada, to purify yourself. Why purify yourself? Because Allah created all the human beings pure. But then they learned something else. So when you see somebody that's a criminal, in his essence he was pure, he was good. Allah knows best whatever happened to him or her. So when you look at human beings that are not doing right, look at them with the eye of mercy. Don't judge. Allah is the judge. Only Allah is the judge, not us. Look at people and pray for them. Hope that Allah can guide them. Allah is able to guide them. So now, when I read the testimony of faith and it said, you just have to, take a shower, physical purification, and then you say 2 sentences. I was like, that's it? Yeah, 2 sentences. You say, Ashhadu, like I had it in transliteration. I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship except God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. And then in the bottom it said, and you have to go and say it in the mosque. And say it. And I said, I'm not going to say it in the mosque. Why not? Because I didn't want Muslims to know me because I said I'm Muslim. No, I wanted the community to know me because of my actions. I wanted to show that I was Muslim, not just say that I was Muslim. Because Muslim is one who submits to God's will. So if you submit to God's will, then you don't lie. to the best of your ability. If you submit to God's will, then you don't cheat. If you submit to God's will, then you don't sell drugs. If you submit to God's will, then you don't hurt other human beings. If you submit to God's will, then you do everything for Allah's will. You serve people to make Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, be happy with you. You take care of the earth. You take care of the animals. So I said, I'm ready. So I said it to myself. I read the Shahada, and I said, that's it, I'm Muslim. I said it. But then I went to the mosque, and they asked me, do you make the Shahada? I said, yes. I didn't explain. Yeah, I did. That's it. But then I came to the mosque. I come to the mosque, and I started coming to the mosque, and when I go to the mosque, I see people coming out. I go to the mosque, I'm by myself. Like, why every time I come to the mosque, people leave? So I'm saying to myself, what's going on? So I go to the mosque, again, I'm by myself. Man, we got the true message of Islam, and why are people not in the mosque? So now, then I realized I find the prayer schedule. And people were leaving when I was coming because they finished salah. They finished prayer. And I didn't know. So I used to come when prayer finished. And sometimes leave and people come. So finally I get the prayer schedule, and I don't understand it. I never seen all these numbers in one page. So I found out the prayer schedule, and I found out what time was Fajr, the morning prayer. My mom, when I accepted Islam, the first thing she thought, he's brainwashed. Somebody who convinced you? Like, nobody. No, I didn't talk to nobody. So how can you say I'm brainwashed? So now when I started going to Fajr, I started coming home, and my mom was in the kitchen. And every time I used to sit in the kitchen while my mom was cooking food with breakfast, and I'm reading Quran. Sometimes I used to come across a verse and say, Mom, can I read something for you? She said, yes, go ahead. So I would read some verses of the Quran. And like I said, my mom, before she married my dad, she used to be a nun. My mom knows the Bible very well. So now I'm reading to her some of the Quran, and my mom, right, she left the convent. She stopped being a nun because there were questions that were unanswered, and she couldn't accept it. So now when I'm reading the Quran, it became an everyday thing. So every day I come from the morning prayer, and I find my mother in the kitchen, and I read some Quran for her in English. Finally, I get married. My mom comes to me and says, and I moved out. She says, I miss your reading of the Quran. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. I asked her why. She said, because a lot of the questions that I had when I was in the convent were answered by the Quran. I was like, okay, so what does that mean? Do you believe in what you heard? She said, yes. So do you want to, purify your belief, from your prayers that you did to other than God? She said, yes. So alhamdulillah, 2 years after I accepted Islam in 1999. In 2002, my mother accepted Islam. 4 months later, my father accepted Islam. And 2 years later, my older brother accepted Islam. Now, alhamdulillah, I am happily married with 4 children. My daughter was 15, son 13, son 10, and other son 3 years old. So that is my in brief, yani, my journey to Islam and a little bit about my life. So if you have any questions, inshallah, we can entertain them, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. We gaan brengen de microfoon. Vi kommer ta lite frågor inshallah med sheikhen, vi har lite tid. Jag har fått några frågor här från bröderna. Om alla kan vara tysta. Jag har fått lite frågor här från bröderna. Och om systrarna har frågor så får ni gärna komma fram med dem. Jag har inte systern Zena som går ut.
Alright, very good question, mashallah. I didn't say it, but now you guys want me to add more. Alright, the question is, what did your gang say when you, let's say, accepted Islam, right? I'm going to rephrase the question. So, basically, after becoming Muslim, I got a visit. And in the gang that I was, if you wanted to leave it, it's death. Right? But I'm still alive, alhamdulillah. But it still can come. It's still a reality that one day you might hear in the news that I got killed. But it's okay, because alhamdulillah my iman is straight, and hopefully that Allah bless me with tawfiq to die with the same belief, inshallah. So we know that death is not a tragedy, it's a reality, so there's no fear of death. We fear the creator of death. So really, if you're doing the right thing, then why be afraid? Now, I got a visit, and one of the guys that came to visit me was the friend that wanted the Quran. Right? The one that wanted to read the Quran, he came to visit me with 3 other friends. And he said, you know, because the brothers, they know you and they know that you were sincere. They know that you were sincere. They're not going to do what they had to do of killing you. But they're going to give you a document to sign, and you're going to get 3 minutes from neck to navel, like punches really hard, non-stop, 3 minutes. And honestly, the 3 minutes seemed long. So I said, let's do it. Let's go to my basement and let's do it. So now they come to my basement, and I tell them one thing. I said, look, I know the rules, and one of the rules is that you can't hit the face, and that you can't hit the lower part, right? So I tell them, I warn them, that's my basement, so I know what I have in my basement. So I told them, if anybody touches my face, you guys are not going to get out from here. It's guaranteed. If you touch my face, you're not going to get out from this basement. They were telling me, don't swing back, don't swing back. I said, don't worry, I'm not going to swing back. Don't touch my face. Don't swing back, don't touch my face. So we did it. 3 minutes. My chest was all full of blood, and I was like, it was painful. And I was like, God is great. And I was looking at them, and then once I got hit and they finished, I said, I love you more than before. Like, what? I said, yeah, I don't have to worry about being associated with you. Now I don't have to worry about that stress. Now I feel that pain, instead of pain, made me feel relief. because now I was free from that. So alhamdulillah, afterwards, when I started working in the same street, these friends used to come and visit me, all with tattoos all over the face, and they know the heart is the same one. Yeah, I didn't buy a new heart. They don't sell hearts like this. You keep the same one. So I just purified it, but it's the same one, and I don't fear no human being except I fear Allah. So any human being is a human being. We live and die. So that's how I left the gang. Alhamdulillah, I didn't have to get killed because, you know, I wouldn't be here today. Next question.
Brother is waiting. Jazakallah khairan. Ya akhi fillah, thank you for the information. Okay, the question is, do you do da'wah in the US and Mexico? He's not from Mexico.
It's okay. Even in Texas, they don't know. Even when you're Hispanic, like, you know, even people that live in Texas, they think that if you're Hispanic, you're Mexican. You know, but no, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from Puerto Rico, just like Daddy Yankee, just like Mark Anthony, just like all these singers, right? And so yeah, I'm from Puerto Rico. But alhamdulillah, but I don't, you know, ever since I accepted Islam, I felt the responsibility to share the information from the Quran. Every time I said, you know, I kept, all these words always kept repeating. Allah is going to ask me, why didn't I tell them? Right? I pass by people every day. I have friends that are not Muslim. Why didn't I tell them? They're going to come on the day of judgment, and Allah is going to ask them, why didn't you accept Islam? There were no Muslims around you? Yes, there were Muslims around me, but they didn't tell me. Or there were Muslims around me, but they weren't practicing Muslims. Right? So I began to do da'wah. I began to talk to people. I began to go to the street. I began to go to the drug dealers. And sometimes in the street, when we're by the masjid, the drug dealers used to sell drugs. I told them, in this street, and they know me. They know me pretty well. They're like, I was like, in this street, you're not gonna sell drugs. In this street, you're not gonna sell drugs. If you sell drugs, I know where you sleep. So, this is the street where the mosque is. Right? And my mother passes through here. Sisters pass through here, children pass through here. I don't want them to see that stuff. And I told them, they said, no, we don't got hands for you. We're not looking for trouble. I said, no, I'm not trying to make trouble. I'm just telling you, you're not going to sell that stuff here. And they left. But that's a risk. That's a risk.